Oh, man.
He's got to get the ball, do a little damage. The Blade of Hepsees might be able to help him do that, but
finish the job. I think that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
If Dominicite died earlier, then maybe the exchange would have been better for Liquid.
It might have been.
Yeah, he was single-handedly zoning out Yue again, which is why it felt like a long time for, we were wondering, where the hell's the Sicilian? Where's all the effects of the Sicilian spells? And it didn't happen up until JP finally showed up, and then Yue could finally join in.
At this point, though, Rora has accomplished one thing, that's time. Again, we talked about this when the Sicilian was picked up earlier on by Yue, and that's what he needs to get the stacks.
They bought time.
They did buy time, and he just got a clock of destiny for more time. So now at this point, Rora is in an actual position of contention for the next Lord. That's really what the focus is going to be here. Unless TLTH, mind you, we haven't seen the Loyi pop up too much, but now that you have that, you can play at a macro level, and they're still going to put pressure on the purple buff of Demon Kite. But he will go ahead, and it looks like he doesn't get it. He hasn't had majority of his buffs, but I'll tell you what, the last fight for the Lord is why we saw what an Akai can bring to these objectives. If the team is able to capitalize on that and Demon Kite can get that space with a heavy spin, he can secure it. And every Lord that's secured from this point is a big win for Rora.
Rora has had immaculate minion wave control all season long, and they have to keep that up. The lack of the turret in the bottom lane, the lack of good health on the turret in the mid lane, and they're up against Liquid's Loyi, Sanji's Loyi. How heartbreaking would it be if, despite everything that they've done in this game, it's the signature Liquid backdoor?
Oh man, Demon Kite taking a ton of damage, already at half health.
I'm looking at Dominica. He flushes Daddy JP out, and that is a huge threat. Maybe even worse than a split push.
JP goes mid, bottom. He wants to go ahead and push that turret in so that Yue has to respond.
Yeah. He's just hitting the siege minion. He's not full clearing it, allowing the minions to slowly finish the job so he can rejoin.
Half health on this Lord here. Demon Kite, he's going to have to make a play.
Sanford on him. Oh, Hep comes in close. Raven Spider coming in. Demon Kite still secures the Lord. Is that one forced? By Dominicite. That's not a fight that they want to take. AOG light out of here. Now the base going to be up next. Oh my God. The Golden Road beckons. Stampede complete. The cavalry goes back to back.
What a play! Team Liquid Philippines are your MPL Season 16 champions!
Doubts answered with an undeniable lead. Team Liquid!
They've done this over and over again. From Jakarta to Malaysia to Cambodia. A backdoor win by Liquid.
I posed the possibility. I didn't expect it would actually happen. I already said it leading up to that Lord.
I said as well, the Loyi is a macro play. And they just brought the cavalry down there. We talked about managing that wave. And they used it to their advantage to win the championship.
The story continues for Aurora. Tonight ends in heartbreak and tears. All the hard work that they did in the regular season. Reminding them whose house this is. This is Liquid's.
Again, it's been amazing to be with you guys joining around the world. Season 16 has been a treat. It's been us, the Wee Bear Bros, me, Leo, and Renmar to bring you the action. Let's throw it over on stage to hear for our winners.
Of the playoffs, we now have our MPL Philippines Season 16 champions. Get ready to lift your trophy you've earned.
What a moment. An opportunity for them to complete the golden road, and they have what it takes to continue it yet again. making something happen, moments for them, and now I think it is time.
I think they're ready this time. Get ready to lift the trophy you've earned. In 3, 2, 1.
Lahat ng pagod at sakripisyo para makuha ang pangarap. A well-deserved trophy and your symbol of immortality. To present more of the awards, we welcome on stage Mr. Victor Tana Kabuay, Beso Project Manager. Now, to award their medals, Coach Tic Tac.
Coach RC.
Sanji.
JP.
Perks.
Carl TZ.
The Apex Predator, Sanford!
OHEB. And their manager, Miss Mitch Liwanag. Once again, your champions, Team Liquid Philippines! And finally, we award our finals MVP! The player that has significantly contributed to their team's road to immortality. Presenting this award is Ms. Janet R. Tumang, Supervising Sports and Games Regulation Officer. And Mr. John Carlo R. Felix, Sports and Games Inspector. And now, are you ready to find out your finals MVP?
Sino ang boto ng madla?
Any guesses? Isigaw nyo! And your finals MVP is... JP!
JP! JP, congratulations! You now have a Finals MVP kasama ang iyong mga kakampi. And mind you, JP is still undefeated in a grand final. What's the secret, JP? Ano bang nangyayari whenever you step into a grand finals para mag-evolve ka na ganito?
Ano lang po talaga, nagpo-focus tapos saka ginagawa ka lang po yung best ko para sa teammates ko para makakapag-space din.
What an incredible performance for the Grand Finals. I bet hindi nila in-expect yung ganitong outcome. And kahapon, nakausap natin ang Team Liquid Philippines. I wanna ask Sanford dahil kahapon sinabi mo na hindi nyo inaasahan or hindi nyo ina-aim yung championship today. What happened this morning? What made you decide? Ano ang tumakbo sa isip nyo na ganito kalakas ang Team Liquid Philippines stepping into the Grand Finals?
Ano lang po yun reverse psychology lang po yun. Pero talagang in-enjoy lang po namin yung series tapos ayun, sobrang nagulat kami na nakuha namin yung ganito resulta.
So this is Team Liquid Philippines without any pressure. This is your potential. Pero parang may pressure kanina. OHEB!
OHEB! Nararamdaman namin yung pressure dito
OHEB Game 3 pa lang. Palong-palo ka na. Anong meron doon? What's the story behind it?
Gusto ko lang talaga bumawi sa Rora, kaya sobrang gigil ko kanina. Pero mga close naman kami yan, sa in-game lang talaga magkakalaban.
Parang hindi kayo naniniwala. Naniniwala ba kayo? Nako, medyo tagilid ang resulta ng iyong interview pero hindi tagilid ang inyong naging resulta with this tournament. Once again, your finals MVP, JP! What a moment for all of Team Liquid Philippines and for the rest of them that are right here. In behalf of everyone that has made it all happen, in behalf of our teams, staff, and the rest of everybody's support, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng nagpunta sa Cuneta Astrodome to be part of history. And in behalf of Almira, Odin, my name is Hans Galeria, and this has been MPL Philippines Season 16! Champions, you can do your trophy lift one more time. Odin, please do the counting for us.
Once again, you may lift the trophy that is rightfully yours. In 3, 2, 1! Congratulations to your champion!
Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas, kahit anong lane, we become the monsters. Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas, face the golden sun and repping for the 3 stars. Look at us, to the top, no ifs, no buts, winning any game, para to sa PIN, yes. Di mo matitinag aming boses sa new level, nasa kalye man o mobile, you know I become a legend. Listen, open fire, we unite, we winners. But with pressure, like diamonds are made of. Switching the lane na parang gera, each beat gising may reseta, ba't kakatang buhat ni Hilda, full tone SS parang Laila. Susundan ko ang iyong bakas, kasama pataas, tagumpay natin to dahil tayo'y malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas, kinikilala sa taas kasi kami ang malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas, kinikilala sa
Ito na! 4, 3, 2,
expect nyo rin pagdating sa mga competitions, iuwi namin yung panalo.
Patuloy din nating ipakita sa buong mundo na Pinas lang ang malakas.
final lap to immortality. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the MPL Philippines Season 16 Grand Final!
Pagkatrasa ng Aurora, dalawa na lang ang natitira sa kanila at may
Pick up. Oh,
This is up to sa amin na members ng DNC. May texture zone na count to engage pero huli na. Diretso sa base ng ating ina, Rupa Ragasa at nagmamadali. Pupunta ang Team Liquid Philippines na lamang ng isang puntos kontra sa DNC.
At dito na nga natin malalaman kung match point na ba para sa Team Liquid Philippines o makakabawi pa ba ang Phoenix Army ng TNC Pro Team. Welcome to game number 4 ng ating finals of the lower bracket.
Ilansi ang kuha ng game. Diretso mga members ng TNC unti-unti. From Lassie, getting away with the process. Shutdown and a triple. Pero sa Chango ang unang nawala. Benny Duty ay tutumba na rin. 3 men down from the Phoenix Army. Nandyan si Trimar at si Zaida para subukan ng pigilan pa ang pag-ragasa. Pero sabi ng Team Liquid Philippines, isa na lang.
Para sa TNC Pro Team, they do not want this to be over. This is their best finish mula pa nung Season 9 and they don't want it to end like this.
Ito na yung counter-engage. Kung di nila nakuha yun, susubok sila kayong lumaban. Gumitil ng mga buhay. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin mga boy at ubos. Ang mga kabalyero ng TLBH. Pinabigilan ng apoy. Napapasok na dadarang ang Team Liquid Philippines. May minions sila nakapasok. Pero teka lang, ginagawa lahat ni Saida. Sa palang na lang! Kaya tuloy ang marcha. Papuntang Grand Finals. Papuntang Jakarta. The Golden Stampede is still on.
The stage is set, the crowds are roaring, and we are waiting for the big clash happening here in Cuneta Astrodome. Welcome to MPL Philippines Season 16's Grand Finals. We are going to be here to witness history being made as we will see our two M7 contenders battle each other to get the Immortal Cup. We're gonna be your casters for the day and panelists for the day rather. Rockhart alongside the Brigida. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling very, very, very hyped up for this upcoming Best of 7 because we all know that last night's Best of 7 was already emotional enough.
It was.
That video showed how emotional it was. There was a lot at stake, especially for TNC, but sadly it had to end there. But I feel like this Best of 7 is just the same. It's just as emotional.
It will be. It will be a best of 7 to determine the grand finals and the winner of the World Cup. But before that, let's go ahead and thank our sponsors. We gotta go level up again with Vibe by BPI. If you download and sign up with Vibe right now, you'll get 50 raffle entries because last month we already gave out 200 lucky winners of 1,250 MLBB diamonds each.
Yep, and this month we've raised this amount so you can potentially win 50,000 diamonds. You just have to download, sign up for Vibe now, and begin an epic tomorrow with Vibe by VPI.
That's right. It's not just our players who are winning today. It's going to be you guys as well. So go ahead and join us and load on Vibe. And of course, don't forget, we're also using the ultimate gaming sim here. It's Smart eSIM. More data, more GG. Experience the winning power of Smart's Unli 5G. Enjoy it with Smart's digital prepaid eSIM.
Smart, the simply reliable telco partner of the MPL. Victories you can count on.
And I personally have gotten a lot of victories with the Smart 5G experience. Of course, this tournament is monitored and supervised by the Games and Amusements Board. Whew. All right, so we always have to do that. It feels like it feels electrifying here. When the crowd walked in, it was dead silent. Everyone was waiting for our players. They want to see how our players feel. How are they looking after that really emotional fight yesterday, the best of 7, TNC versus TLPH.
You could definitely say that for the Cavalry, who are already here in the arena, and I think a lot of them are actually present already because we're quite packed, and it's a bit too early to say that compared to the previous days, but this is the matchup that we'll be seeing for the grand finals. TLPH have accomplished their, well, you can't even maybe call it a lower bracket run because they didn't start in the beginning of the lower bracket.
It's a visit. It's a lower bracket.
Yeah, but they're the ones who dropped down to the lower bracket. So technically, this is going to be a rematch because the last time they saw each other was 2 days ago.
That's
Just
right.
2 days ago.
And that last one, as you can see right there, was pretty brutal as well. 3-1 for Aurora. It was a pretty solid and pretty convincing victory, if I may say so myself. But you know what? Right after that, we saw a very angry TLPH face off against CNC, and they showed no mercy.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people know how terrifying Liquid are when they're angry. Although we did see a bit of a difference in terms of their emotions after winning last night, because I feel like a lot of them were already very, very happy with securing their ticket to the M series, that Sanford even accidentally slipped and nearly said that he was happy with just this, but he immediately took it back. You know, you can't be happy with just that. You of course want to still win the back-to-back champions.
Actually, I talked to RC right after that. I said, you might be forgetting, guys. You're fighting a back-to-back. You could get a back-to-back MPL Philippines championship. And he said, you know what, you're right. We're going to double up our efforts and we're going to show you a good show, as they always say.
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely, TLPH feels like they're really on form. Right after that, it felt like a big breath of relief that they were able to secure their M7 slot. Again, their minds are on that golden road.
Yeah.
They're still on the quest to complete it, Brigida.
Yes. On the other hand, though, I think Aurora, if you look at them, if you pass by them in the hallway, you could feel how their aura seems very locked in, how badly they want this. And Yue is that type of player who's just usually very jolly, and he always looks like he's bouncing when he's walking, but when you see him before the grand finals, there's a bit more seriousness to his overall aura, you know? And Yue is a guy that we will be talking about later on, because he probably wants this really badly.
I think he does. I think all of Aurora are roaring to get, obviously, they want to achieve that, like 2 Auroras in M7. But they also really want that championship. They have been showered with doubts. Even before the playoffs started, they were showered by the phrase that I don't really want to say, But, you know, a lot of doubters, that's at least, to say the least, for Aurora. I think they really want to prove that wrong.
There's a high chance that if you scroll online,
a little bit,
you already have an idea of what we're talking about. But it's so nice to have Rockhart in the panel as we talk about the MPL Philippines tournament history.
That's
so
right.
Imagine that. We've been 16 seasons in the league. And so far, this makes it a bit more important for Liquid, I guess. We could go back to Liquid for a bit. Because it's not all the time you get to see a team secure a back-to-back championship.
It's scary. Sunsparks did it first. Obviously, we follow a Blacklist International on season 7 and 8. We also see a bit more consistency for Blacklist. They got to season 10, but after that, it was just Echo non-stop almost, with a little bit of an insert by AP Brand and Fnatic Onyx Philippines on season 12 and season 14. So that's why I had to remind RC, you know what? Look at this, man. Look, you can do another back-to-back here, solidifying your stand, your status here in the MPL Philippines.
Yeah, I mean, look at 11 to 13. You mentioned it. It could have been a back-to-back-to-back. But it just slipped out of their hands. We already started observing some tendencies of Liquid, of Echo, whenever they get into the playoffs, or even like what tends to happen when they're in an even or an odd season.
Exactly, you see it right there. Season 12, season 14. That's when it started. And so some people are going to be saying, you know what, maybe the curse is real. This is something that we're trying to change, but for the meantime, obviously, it's all about immortality for our players. The Immortal Cup is the target right here, and a lot of them are still, we have like 3 first-time hopefuls. Surprisingly, Yue being here since season 11, 5 seasons or 4 seasons of him just barely making it to that top.
Whereas on the other hand, Carl, Oheb, and JB, the only players in the league this season who are 5-time hopefuls, all stay and remain up until the very last day. So imagine how big of a feat that is to get 5 championships in the league.
I mean, how can you even touch that? How do you even touch that? 5 championships. That is going to be insane. That's happening for Carl, TZ, Oheb, and JP, or possibly happening for them. Edward's catching up, though.
Yeah,
really.
but I think Edward, you know, when it's about M-Series, you gotta give it to him.
He's super focused when that happens.
These players that we see who have their names still lit up on this graphic of chasing immortality have arguably a lot of accolades and achievements already under their belt, but it feels different this time. It's like, as I think confirmed, the most competitive season already in MPL Philippines history, there's a lot more hunger and drive for these players to actually win it this time. Now more than ever that they've had such a great record, and now more than ever that they're so close to proving all those doubters, to basically denying all those accusations that have been thrown against them.
That's right. I mean, basically we're fighting against doubters, against curses, against all the bad juju in the world that you can face. Would pick it up, but no, it is going to be TLPH.
They took the Harith and the Eve.
That's very solid magic damage.
Amazing. These are picks I would have thought Aurora would prioritize or get their hands on more than Liquid would, but they're all in Liquid's side now.
Yeah, Brigida, that's all magic damage though. They need a strong fighter XP lane.
So maybe that's why we won't consider the Alice, or Aurora are not considering the Alice anymore too.
I think so.
They're looking for a bit more damage to come in the EXP lane, but the Arlot's not there, the Yuzhong's not there, and even the Benedetta gets taken out from Liquid as an option. And Aurora finish up their draft with a Farsa Franco combination.
Well, okay. They warned us yesterday that the new stuff was going to come out. Here comes the Franco. I think that's the first Franco of the playoffs so far. And the Yue back on the Farsa. And now on that last pick, we talked about some good physical damage.
Yeah.
It's not what I was thinking. It's the Terizla.
Yeah, it's It is physical damage, but it's not
like the big damage.
It's not the same as the Yuzhongs, as the Arlots, or
it's not big damn.
But it adds up to the crowd control, to the layer of surprise that we can see from them. I mean, the real world AOG.
Yeah, the amount of catch. That's a lot of catch.
That's
right
a lot
here.
already.
So we'll see. We are loading up into the map, ladies and gentlemen, for the first game of this best of 7. It is going to be one for the books. Let's throw it over to our esteemed TriCast, the We Bear Bros.
Rock Hard Brigada, thank you so much. An amazing pre-show, an amazing opening, and it's electrifying here in the FPL Filipino Arena. It's Season 16's Grand Finals. It is us, the We Bear Bros, Nice, Leo, and Redmar, to take you guys through, hopefully, 7 games.
Oh, 7-game Grand Finals, and we're in for a surprise. Light gets his Franco back. Liquid did everything they could to deny UA Heroes in the second phase of the banning by taking away Sicilian and Ovaria, but he still ends up with a really great pick in the Farsa. Franco and Farsa together in the center of the map, but we're starting to see here again, with more Eves, we're getting reminded why Eves is such a nuisance now in this current metagame. Once she starts getting cooldown items on her, bro, she's gonna deal damage really quickly. In terms of the emblems, nothing too crazy, still pretty much run-of-the-mill.
The reputation on Light's Franco rings true even in Season 16. Undefeated going into this game. So you know that even if the drafts kind of regressed to a pre-Project Next status, everything that we've learned through the playoffs rings true.
It's really interesting to have this specific draft for Game 1. I think the draft alone, no matter how many games we get, we're going to go through its own evolution. You know, we've seen very different shades of the meta already because of the way that Project Nest came smack dab in the middle of the season, that I think from draft up game to game, we'll see that shades of the different meta. Because, I mean, when was the last time, you saw the Eve and even the Tarizla pop up for any of the games through the playoffs.
Yeah, typical rapid boots rush there for the Franco. You mentioned the Tarizla. Team Liquid Philippines just decided to build a wall of beefy bodies because they know that Rora loves to play a very tight formation, especially around UA, having an artillery mage and then Dominkite having a Granger as well. So Liquid is going to look to stampede. If not in terms of the rotations, then in terms of just winning the team fights through sheer brute force. You'll have to watch Sanford and Edwards' timings here and which team can help which EXP laner better.
Turtle now at half health. Carl TD rolling Demon Kite out of that pit. RWM the answer. Sanji catches a good amount of salvos. Sanford draws first blood on Demon Kite. Turtle gets reset. Yue chasing Sanji. A shield on this Eve. Not gonna save him from Yue. And Yue's way behind enemy lines. How's he gonna survive? Like it's the flicker back, surfing it up to Demon Kite. He is ready. And in comes Kiel. Serving up a kill for the cavalry.
And look, Yue is still alive. Is he going to be able to escape this? He has wings by wings.
He's trying.
Yue?
No way.
Very low. No one gets it. He survives.
A big overcommittal there by TLPH. Rora will get this turtle.
Okay. They talk about a fight for the first objective of the game. And they went back and forth. They traded for kills, but ultimately that objective goes in the hands of Demon Kite. And so they get that. Again, they're holding on to this very minor lead for TLPH. You saw the stats there, by the way, the win rate between a classic gold lane matchup that we see in terms of the heroes, the Granger versus the Harith. Interestingly enough, that TLPH got that Harith too, because we all know, we've been talking about all season, Dominkite is probably the best Harith in the season.
Oh yeah, definitely the best record, best performance, rarely loses lane. Now he has his hands on a Granger who decided to rush a Hunter Strike. Nothing too greedy, not going for the Sky Piercer rush. Of course he's gonna be second building that, but a different flavor. AOG
coming in, Daddy JP, Salmon forced by OHEB. Light in the middle of it all, real world manipulation, the answer, keep it, the homecoming hero down, Light bites it.
Great use of the real world manipulation. No more Salmon Force here. Here comes the clap back by Rora.
Then an airstrike coming through. Several salvos caught in by the patriarch of the cavalry. No dice.
They did get the revitalization down from JP. Part of this too. And, hold on. XP laner is going to be duking it out. Sanford should be able to get away.
Edward really stretching the limits on the body of Smith at level 6. both XP laners just back off.
Yeah, and you see there, one of the secret matchups that you can pair up against a Lapu Lapu, if you have a good team building around it, pick up the Terizla. Yes, initially, once you bring out the Raging Slashes through the Bravest Fighter, once that's gone, the damage of the Terizla actually just sort of evens out the battle. So it's a bit of a dead lane. We're waiting to see which team's going to be rotating towards the EXP lane more. But I think they're going to be okay with just leaving it as it is because both of them can manage well. They're just looking to outplay in terms of the objectives. Hopefully Team Liquid Philippines doesn't do the same thing that they did in the previous fight, which was take the fight right at the very edge of the RWM. What a hook!
JP standing his ground. He knows that there's very little follow-through.
All right, Hook's going to land here. They're in position. We got to watch out where Sanji decides to set up this RWM, but they're just going to blitz the turtle.
Liquid denying rollout response. An AOG called back.
Bang!
They will have to wait, and oh my god, the damage from Liquid! Edward and Demon Kite gone immediately.
You just got dudes jumping all over the place. The cavalry has evolved. They have wings.
Big, beefy boys slapping meat. That's it. That's what we're talking about. Just brute force, throw bodies, burst damage, play around the RWM, and it looks like Aurora aren't completely ready for this type of Liquid lineup. They're used to having Sanford and a little bit more, like a lot of technicalities with this EXP laners. This time, it's simple. Flicker and use the penalty zone.
It's a tale as old as time. Fundamental MOBA tactics. Dive comp versus poke comp. The poke isn't ready yet, so Liquid take advantage.
Yeah, but actually you said it best. The poke isn't ready yet, but when things even out, that's when Liquid need to slow things down just a little bit, because if they're not careful, Aurora have a fantastic counter-punish lineup once they have their items locked in for the Farsa and the Granger. Hell, we're already starting to see teases of it. The fights of Liquid are getting expensive. They have to commit a lot to get a big win.
It's interesting how it's happening too, because it's a different kind of pressure from TLPH because of the fact that they have a penalty zone paired up with a flicker, and then you have JP jumping in as well with the AOG. So for Aurora, I'm trying to adjust to this, trying to go ahead and not, because you have to think about how much ground can be covered by that for TLPH. That's the problem that Aurora has to deal with. So I'm almost thinking best thing they can do is if they're able to get a pick off from Light, take out at least one member from TLPH, that should give them some of the advantage. I think the hard part too is for UA and Dominkite to actually utilize the space they have. Oh no.
All right, that's 2-on-1. Sanford eating quite a bit from this duel from Aurora. Edward and UA lay down a smackdown on 40, sending him home.
Okay, Team Liquid Philippines need to find position again for this turtle. It looks like it'll be an advantage for them, but Aurora, they are healthy enough to fight into this. Waiting for the feathered airstrike of the Farsa to come back. Dominkite now has a Sky Piercer, so Liquid has to be careful because a big turn by Aurora will hurt.
Okay, they're going to start up half health on this last turtle of the game. Demon and Carl facing off. There they go.
Edward into 4. JP intersecting Demon Kite. Can Edward get out of here? Feathered airstrike. Do it. Backing off. 7 force by Oheb. Edward already down. Demon Kite follows quickly. Rora can't find nothing.
JP with the zone. Perfectly timed so that Demon Kite wouldn't even get in range. He didn't get to use the retribution there. Carl Daisy, very easy for him despite the entry for Edward. Again, this is why we wanted to point out the importance of the timing of the entry between the two EXP laners. But there's also a Gatotkacho for the side of Liquid.
Liquid walked away with so much. They took the turtle, went the threat mid. Carl Daisy drives by Grand Theft Orange. 4,000 gold up. This is looking like a stampede.
All of it's distributed pretty much evenly across the lanes too, except for that gold lane, man. The gold lane difference right now, I think, is really playing into the stats that we mentioned earlier with the Harith versus Granger combo. And I would say, even when you see those fights break out, it's amazing because we don't see the Terizla that much.
Yeah.
You kind of forget how much damage he can take, especially with the passive that he has, that Body of Smith. He's able to go ahead and just take a ton of this damage, set things up for TLPH, and then that gives the free reign for Oheb and the likes to go ahead and solidify that team fight, especially around the RWM. Look at this, they're going to push them off the turret.
Demon Kite got 4 on him. 7 force by Oheb. The bite down. The hook. Oheb only takes him down. It's a 2-man trade. 1 for 1. JP for DK. Light forced to use the freeze, and he still gets caught by Sanji. 2 for 1. Liquid wins it.
Oh my goodness. Team Liquid Philippines are still going for Doming. Wait, whoa.
Doming finds the Unite, and Dominkite back it off. Still alive. Edward Edward buying time for his gold laner. Not so sure if Edward's ready for this. Go ahead, another Salmon Force. Liquid holding on to this, pressuring the tier 2.
Really spicy there onto that tier 2 turret.
Yeah, the sheer amount of health and resources that Liquid has. If this game was a little bit closer, Aurora would have gotten an even bigger punish. But good thing they were able to balance things out with the light hook and flicker plus the bite. But Liquid are still sticking to their main idea, their main strategy. Play for the Harith, play around the Harith. And this time what they're doing much better now compared to their previous series up against Aurora earlier this playoffs was that they're marking the other points of entry. There's always at least 1 or 2 members of Team Liquid Philippines off to the side while the 3-man main fight is happening with the other members of Aurora.
And that's the problem here. Light, you know, he's trying to land these hooks, but even if you pull someone, it's not a guaranteed kill. It's still going to be used by JP. Lord's going to go for a little bit of a reset. Demonkite's still up there with Carl. But look at the zoning. This is the potential we're talking about. JP's going to pop the revival.
Lord's very low. Sanford on the 2. Carl secures. And there's like by Yue. This is a good position for that ult, but there's not enough space for Aurora to take advantage of that. Liquid win. Lord for free.
Again, Sanford and JP able to provide such a big front here.
Yeah, they have fantastic item builds here. Already full build the anti-Cuirass for the Terizla. While JP, I love that he went for Dreadnought armor, didn't full build that, and then went straight for the Athena shield. That's why he can just stand in front of Aurora right now and act as the secondary Terizla. While Sanford's also the secondary Gothic Kaja. The interplay between the Roman EXP of Liquid is what's giving Aurora so much difficulty because they're both too tanky.
Yeah, this is what we were saying earlier, you know. Yue is going to be a big part of that damage profile on the Farsa, and Domenkite's going to have to get there on this Granger. And it's been solved by TLPH, at least for now. They still maintain this lead. They're going to have to set things up here, deal with this Lord that's pushing up on the top side. They'll most likely lose that tier 2 turret. But now for Aurora, what can they do here on the defense? What are they capable of turning around to get this game in their favor as they face down that 6K deficit?
Well, if they have the reach, this is a perfect defense comp that Aurora has. If Liquid decide to throw bodies and mess up, it's going to be dangerous. They forced the flicker out of Domenkite, so let's see if Liquid will force any issue. But the thing is, there's no minion waves at mid, but they might try to play through the Lord. The minion wave at bot not going to be enough, but they can't risk it at this point. Again, they have the Farsa, the Granger, which is already up to a Malefic Roar, so they have to be careful.
Little Robo don't dump on him. Domenkite was fighting for his life. They will save this tier 2 in mid, but at 12 minutes, Holy Shields just retract anyways. Aurora does well to defend against that first Lord.
It's a bit tough too, because when you get to this point of the game, you're really thinking, Aurora, how do they turn it around? Might be it's that next Lord, but they have to figure out the puzzle here, man. The puzzle is TLPH's objective fighting. That box, literally the box they're able to set up with the RWM is, I feel like, problem number 2. Problem number 1 is getting past JP and Sanford, setting things up before they even get a chance to get in that range. So the job for Aurora is even more difficult. I mean, even Demonkite can sit in front of that all day he wants, but if the rest of the team can't join him and he's zoned out, he's going to continue to die like he has.
Yeah, already up to the Magic Lantern after the Glowing Wand for that Eve. You see the Lapu-Lapu and Fredrin both had to build Radiant Armors. I wouldn't be surprised if that will also be a Radiant Armor for Light later on, because right now, the magic damage brought out by the 3 heroes on the side of Liquid, the Eve, the Gatot, and the Harith, it's what's stopping Aurora from being able to fight comfortably. They played around the pick-off style roamer up against a roamer in the Gatot Kacha who can just stand, front, hold, use their Revitalize. That reapplies the pressure now to Demonkite, which, again, needs time. But then he couldn't get that time because he also had to act as a secondary frontliner for the team. So it was a risk that Light ended up with the Franco. Let's see if Aurora can somehow miraculously turn it around. See Halberd for Doming.
Here we go. They go ahead and pull out the Lord. Carl's going to show himself up here. I'm not sure Aurora is going to be able to do anything.
The flicker in by Light, the bite down, plus the winner's function. Sanji swiping away, down goes Demonkite. Light goes as well, it's a little too much. That 7K gold lead. JP closing up the exit on Edward. Oh, changing bites it. Triple kill for Edward. Liquid let go of the Lord to take care of that purple. But the cavalry continue to stomp forward.
That is economy dip at its finest. showing. They just have too many items, too much damage. Rora will have to play through the defense in base, and this will be Liquid trying not to mess up winning this game. Forced out the flicker from Sanji, though.
Yeah, you got to flicker out, but
I think that's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth in a way, but man, Sanji hasn't really had. Sanji has had a great game of just, I'm going to chill in the back, set up my RWM, and the rest of everybody else will go ahead and shine off of that. Again, they have had such a difficult time playing against that box.
Yeah. You see, up to a Divine Glaive already for this even. I'm wondering, why didn't you build the Divine Glaive rush? They already felt this deficit very quickly. He still went for the Blood Wings. Yes, he's an important part of the lineup, but at this point, you're going to have to accept that you need that magic penetration right away to sort of smoothen things out a little bit more for your team.
Crazy thing about it, too, is Oheb's a big problem for Rora. They've had no answer to it, and he's just been able to go Zombie Force all over the place. They're going to go ahead and push it into the space. Lord's going to march up. They drop the RWM.
AOG was the tail end of that RWM. Takes down Light. So Demon Kite and Edward are holding the ground, but Liquid have already broken in. Lord here at an eighth of its health. Rora just wailing away. Liquid happy with what they got. They're inside the base.
Yeah, good discipline. And good thing Team Liquid Philippines didn't force anything more. They're already happy with the kill onto Light, which now, again, reapplies even an insane amount of pressure on this Lapu Lapu and Fredrin. Liquid can continue this, though.
Here they go. That is a
wow.
From the back line. Sideline. Edward cannot stand right in front of Liquid. Sanford goes. JP gets the immortality pop. Can he get out of here? Turret shots. AOG out. They save one body.
I feel like TLPH kind of messed that up. You know, they decided to go for the mid turret, even with a lead. I think they're surprised, even with this economic lead, that they still got punished in that sense.
Yeah, a bit of an overheat. Again, one of the tendencies of Team Liquid Philippines, if they have a big lead, they're willing to take very risky fights, even when there's one last base turret that they have to go through the lane that they're trying to answer. Sanford committed the flicker penalty zone. Would have been great if the turret was gone. But Rora also has really good wave clear at this point. Yes, there's a deficit, but they're beyond 40k plus. That means they can clear waves very quick. Team Liquid need to respect that unless Rora turn things around again very late into the game. Something we already saw from them earlier this playoffs.
Look at the sandwich.
Carl's easy, rolling out, catches one, the AOG, that JP, the flicker from Doming Kite, and of course a few salvos from Doming and you, and JP bites it. DK for the dad.
They went for a play. They scouted Aurora out, but still they only end up trading the 1-for-1. Lord's gonna come up here in a couple seconds though, so they'll make their way.
Yeah, but that's hella worth it because now it's about to spawn, and by the time the Lord goes down, Demon Kite wouldn't have even spawned yet because Liquid can blitz this comfortably.
They're gonna have to go ahead and secure this. Edward, Light, are they gonna try to delay this? I don't think they're gonna be able to do much off of this. Supplies are gonna face them down. Edward, he'll just say hi to TLPH. They'll get back to base. Demon Kite will be up for the defense. And we'll see TLPH approach the base, trying to get the last two base turrets down, potentially ending the game.
Rora stopped the bleeding.
Yeah.
So this is comeback territory. We've seen him do it from 13,500 from the same damn team in the upper bracket finals.
Yeah, Liquid has this weird tendency in Season 16. I think only around a 30 or 40% win rate, somewhere around that realm when the game goes past 18 minutes. My challenge for Liquid is for them to end it here, lest Rora turn things around again and start off this best of 7 with a massive turnaround win.
See if they can do it here. Lord approaching up top. TLPH knocking at the base doors here, bottom and mid. Doming Kite sold his boots. He's got a winner's crown. He knows he's an integral part of the success on this defense. Lord's going to be worked on. Here's TLPH.
AOG, Rora disperses. Lord now underneath turret range. Rora takes care of it. Liquid move on to that mid lane. Sanji with the real relation. The hook by Light. JP gets that turret down. Less damage coming in. Down goes Sanji. Rora collapse on the Liquid. Edward falls after he used that flicker. Rora still in it.
Rora defends. We said that they have great clear, they have great high ground defense. They only lost Edward, but they stay in the game. game.
Yeah, they're managing the minion waves very well. Every time Liquid want to get close to ending things, all of that just for one turret. So now they have to watch out for the fact that Dominkite went for the Winter Crown. He can buy and sell immortalities later on. Now there's the Divine Glaive and Magic Lantern for UA, which is why minion waves are getting cleared very fast, alongside the fact that they have items already on this Granger. The Queen's Wings on that Lapu Lapu, they got that earlier, but the big item pickup, and which is why Liquid now have to be super careful, is that Demon Kite doesn't care if he's the first target. He already has the Guardian Helmet. He buys so much time every time.
And looking at the KDAs on Edward and Demon Guy, and hell, you can lump up Light in there too. It's diminishing returns. These heroes haven't gotten kills, so Liquid in turn are getting less economy on the clapback, and we're approaching a point where economy rarely matters anymore. Yeah. So they can just keep throwing bodies too. Rora have found a way to play Liquid's game.
What it's going to come down to is the objective fight here, and again, we're looking to see if Rora can actually have the fight that they want. They've been leaning towards Light to go ahead and get the hook, you know, to make a play there.
Yeah. But
they might just have to full on decide that we got to go ahead and contest against TLPH for this next Lord coming up in less than 30.
Yeah, I think the main line of communication now has to be San. It has to be Sanji and Sanford. When Sanji wants to drop down the real world manipulation, Sanford has to be ready to look for Yue. Because the reason why Sanji got taken out in the last siege was that he dropped down the RWM, initiated, but Yue was free to be able to help reach Sanji, and those extra feathered airstrikes and eventually the cleanup by Rora was what took him down. So the Terizla and the Eve have to talk together, work together, and sync their ultimates so that Sanji will be safe, and even if Edward dives him, there won't be a clapback from Rora.
Well, here we go. Lord's up. It's evolved. Post the 20-minute mark here. TLPH still maintaining the lead that they have. They'll grab the buffs, give it over to Oheb as he grabs the purple and then the orange.
Oh, man.
Look at the positioning here, too, for TLPH. They know they don't have to rush this. They can play with some of the advantage that they have.
Yeah, sad sword for Dominkite, and that's bad news for Team Liquid Philippines. That BOD already locked in for him. Yikes, Athena's shield readjustment there through the Winter Crown. Rora, they can contest this, and Liquid, hey, if they mess up, this is gonna hurt.
Yeah, they're gonna go for this. Oh, in trouble, there's the hook.
We'll go to JP. Light does not want to bite, and we see Edward backing off, not committing any ults just yet. Lord at an eighth of its health.
Oh, Demon Kite's trying to get there, but he's trapped.
Sanji with a real manipulation, swiping left, swiping right. Oh, Light, as Demon Kite goes down. The bite down by Light, canceled, and backing off. He uses Flicker, he goes down. Kiel gets another. 2 for none the trade. In comes Edward, holding the line. Rora does not like the situation they're in.
Oh, Sanji bought the immortality. JP as well. They jumble around, and now it's only 2 on the defense.
No Lord taken, but they're already inside the base. Down goes Yue. There's minions for Liquid. The cavalry start off strong. 1-0.
JP found Dominkite. The AOG, the taunt, it delayed the damage output of Rora just enough for Liquid and Oheb to pop off and win.
A showcase of great skill here by both, but TLPH coming out stronger in game 1. And a phenomenal game for Oheb. 12-0-6, I think he was on the Harris. Let's throw it over to a panel to break it down.
Okay. We got a game. That was very decisive from Team Liquid Philippines here, looking so strong right off the bat.
I think that was enough of a reminder of the Harith ban and why it has always been a ban for majority of the playoffs and the regular season too, after people have finally accepted the fact that you cannot let certain players get their hands on this hero.
Exactly.
But it's way more than that, Rocker. We saw just how well the hero synergies were for Liquid and this lineup. And who else did play the Harith in that game?
Of course, your MVP is going to be Oheb for that Harith. Really insane movements. Again, 12-0-6. They tried to Radiant Armor their way through it, figured out, but it was just not enough.
Especially in that last part where we thought Yue got to fly away to safety, but no, there was enough damage from a single, was that a synchro fission that came in from Oheb just to take him down. And this guy felt as if he had no struggles whatsoever from the laning phase all the way to the team fights. It was just everything was on his terms. Like, if he wanted to use the Zaman Force, he had all the freedom